Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, so today we are going to start with the unit number 4 of said subject basic civil engineering. Okay, so section number 2. So in the unit number 4, we are going to deal with the linear and angular measurements. Okay, so I am Assistant Professor Nitish Mohite. Okay, so working in Department of Civil Engineering. Okay. So as the name indicates, linear and angular, you can see it here. Okay, so you might have seen such kind of tape or this circular tape. This is nothing but your pocket tape, and this is circular tape. Okay, so you might have seen such kind of tape and the instrument which is right now here. Okay, so these two instruments are nothing but that are being used for linear measurements, and this instrument is nothing but a total station advance. Okay, so which is used both for linear as well as for angular measurements. Okay, so let's restart. Okay, so we'll see first of all what are the linear measurement equipments. So you can see here one image. Okay, so this is nothing but chain. Okay, so there are various types of chains available in the market, so by which we can do the linear measurement, that is the measurement of distance between 2 points. Next, you might have seen such kind of in real, because you are driving your car or it might be your bike. Okay, so this is nothing but your speedometer. Okay, so directly you can calculate what is the distance. Okay, so you can get it here. If you are going to set it here 0, and from your starting position up to the end point, end station point, you will get whatever is the distance. Okay, so that is nothing but your speedometer. So this also you might have seen. So such kind of this instrument is nothing but your piezometer. Okay, so it is correspondingly, or perambulator, sorry. So it is perambulator. So it is a wheel which has been fitted with a fork and a handle. Okay, so here is certain dial which has been provided. So after having a one complete revolution, one number comes here directly. Okay, so it has been practically used by the persons who are going to lay the cables, underground cables, or some of the persons who are dealing with electrification. Okay, doing the electric work or cable work. So that in that case they are going with this instrument which is nothing but perambulator. So after certain revolutions, it gives the distance. Okay, after multiplying it by perimeter, so that is nothing but your linear measurement equipment. Okay, or in common, you might have seen that in many of the cases, if it is not possible, or if you want to have a certain judgment only, okay, so you can just go on walking, and you are knowing what is the distance between your each step. Okay, so with that we call it as pacing. Okay, so from starting point up to the end point, just go on walking. So you are knowing what is the common distance. It is generally 2.5 feet. So just multiply it by number of steps, you will get the distance. So it will be approximate, not accurate. So for accurate measurements, you are going to make use of this chain, this speedometer, or perambulator, or it might be a tape. Next, we'll see angular measurement equipments. Okay, so what are the angular measurements? equipments. So this is nothing but a compass. Okay, so there are two types of compass. One is the surveyor compass, which we are going to see in the next chapter. Okay, or during this chapter we are going to see various types of problems. Okay, so this is nothing but a prismatic compass. So here we can measure the angle, okay, with respect to the north. Here you can see a thread is there, so which is been used for bisecting the object, and here is the eyepiece through which you are supposed to bisect it. And here is a freely suspended needle. So this is nothing but your prismatic compass. Next is a, this is a theodolite. Okay, so here the least count of the prismatic compass is 30 minutes. Okay, least count of the prismatic compass is 30 minutes, but this theodolite is having a least count of 10 seconds to 30 seconds. Okay, so depending upon the vernier which has been fitted here. Okay, so vernier is been fitted inside this. So in order to measure angular measurement, so it might be dealing with the horizontal plane or it might be dealing with the vertical plane. Okay, so in that case, this telescope bisects the said object, and whatever are the changes in the position of the vernier, you are going to note it down. So this is nothing but a theodolite. And again, this is nothing but the total session, so which is having much accuracy than this, up to 1 second. Okay, so up to 1 second you can have the accuracy. So here it is ranging from 10 seconds to 30 seconds. So this is 30 minutes. So 30 minutes least count of prismatic compass, 10 seconds, and here total session 1 second only. And in case of measurement of linear measurement also you can make use of this. Okay, so based upon this total session and prismatic compass we are going to conduct the practicals. Okay, and based upon the use of chain also, how it is to be handled or how the measurement is to be done, that also we are going to see during the practical session. But before that we should know what are the uses and how we are going to handle it. Okay, so we should know the theoretical background. So this were the linear and angular measurement equipments. So now in this unit we are going to deal with principles of surveying, then classification of surveys, chain surveying, introduction to metric chain and tapes, error in chaining, nominal scale and representative factor, that is nothing but RF, ranging, chaining and offsetting, index plan, location sketch and recording of field book, chain and compass survey, meridian, bearing and its types, system of bearing, types of compass, prismatic and surveyor compass. Okay, so this we are going to see. So right now I told you the word prismatic compass. Okay, and last one, calculation of include angles. So how we are going to measure the include angles? So based upon that we are going to solve certain problems of this and that of dealing with measurement of horizontal distances. Okay, so we'll see one by one. And correction for local attraction, the last point we are going to see here. So now what do you mean by surveying? Okay, so you might have seen in many of the places while traveling over the road. Okay, so certain such kind of device has been only just mounted over a tripod stand. Okay, and a person is recording something, watching, and a person is handling some of the other stuff, which we call it as, this is nothing but a leveling stuff. And this is tripod stand over which this auto level or dumpy level or the said theodolite or total station is been mounted. Okay, so what do you mean by surveying actually? So surveying is nothing but an art. Okay, so surveying is nothing but the art of determining the relative positions of different objects on the surface of the earth by measuring the horizontal distances between them. Okay, so suppose I'll show it here. So suppose this is the point A and this is the point B. So survey means what? So we are supposed to measure the relative distance between these 2 points. Okay, so which are present on the surface of the earth. Okay, and by making use of various instruments like chain, tape, or total station also you can make it use of there. So okay, and preparing drawing to a certain scale or preparing a map, okay, and representing it there. So this is nothing but a survey. Okay, so surveying means what? I will tell you the definition once again. So surveying is the art of determining the relative positions of different objects on the surface of the earth by measuring the horizontal distance between them and by preparing a map to any suitable scale. Okay, so in this case of the surveying, whatever are the said measurements are to be done, so that are dealing it only with the horizontal plane. Okay, so on which we are walking, that surface is nothing but your horizontal plane. So that is nothing but your surveying. So you might have seen such kind of persons also likewise, okay, during the road project work. So that is nothing but survey. So now what is the use of this survey? So one use we have got to measure the distance between the two objects or 2 points on the surface of the earth and preparing a map. So now we'll see what are the different uses of this. So there are certain applications of the surveying. So maps are prepared for marking the boundaries of countries, states, districts, etc. in order to avoid disputes. So you might have heard many of the news that between the two states, that one particular area or one particular district or one correspondingly taluka or particular part of that state is lying in us, and due to that the conflict is been going between many of the states. Okay, so in order to do the marking, okay, so surveying is been done. So in order, so that is linked with local level with states, it might be of also district and also of the countries. So you might have heard the news also of the said the war between right now or conflict between or dispute between the India and China, that they are telling that a particular part is in our part only, so it lies in our map. So they are trying to occupy it. Okay, so for that, in order to mark that, you can make use of the survey. The next one is the locality plans help in identifying location of houses and offices in the area. Okay, so if you are having a plan, okay, so you can identify corresponding where the particular house is present or office is there in the area. So road maps help travelers and tourists. Okay, so if road maps are readily available, so if you are interested in going to a particular place for tourist purpose or for traveling purpose, so in that case road maps are required. So by making use of that, you can easily do the reach at that place. Next is the topographic maps showing natural features like rivers, streams, hills, forests, help in planning irrigation projects and flood control measures. Okay, so correspondingly, you might have studied in the during the 10th standard or till the 10th standard that we have seen that a map is there, or in the geography subject, especially in rivers, streams, hills, forests are being shown. Okay, so what is the use of this topographic map? So correspondingly, by making use of that, the irrigation department of the civil engineering, so that uses this topographic map in order to control the flood which is been taking place due to the heavy rainfall. Okay, and where to locate a particular dam, where to construct a particular across a bridge. Okay, so for that purpose, that irrigation department looks into the topographic map. Next, for planning and estimating project works like roads, bridges, railways, airports, water supply, and wastewater disposal surveying is required. Okay, so in order to calculate what is the distance of the road, okay, in order to do the estimation, estimating, planning work, how much the road is to be constructed, how much should be the width, whether it should be a single lane, double lane, three lane, whether it should be a national highway, what are its norms, then bridge where it is to be located, railway alignment, airport, water supply, and wastewater disposal surveying. So for that purpose, this surveying is required. Then in case of marine and hydrographic survey, in that also we are requiring for knowing the navigation routes and harbors. So unless and until you are not knowing from which direction we are supposed to go to any of the required place, as we are when we are traveling over a bike or driving our car, we are knowing that from a particular road, So this is the good way or perfect road from which I can travel. So likewise, in the case of marine, so navigation routes are being fixed. Okay. So for that also we require the surveying. Okay. And correspondingly, in the case of military survey, okay, so in order to have strategic planning, so this it has been required. Again, we are supposed to prepare a contour map, okay, so which gives the nature of the ground. So where is the up or certain undulations are there, so that we are going to represent by doing the survey work, which helps us in finding out the capacity of a reservoir. Okay, so you might have heard that a particular dam is having this much capacity in terms of TMC to store the said water which is being collected during the rainy season, okay, or during the monsoon. So further, we'll see what is the classification of surveying. So basically, it is been classified into two parts. First one is the primary classification, next is the secondary classification. In primary classification, it has been classified into plain surveying, and second one is the geodetic surveying. So what do you mean by plain surveying? So plain surveying is nothing but correspondingly in which only the plane surface is been considered. So we are knowing that the shape of the earth is nothing but spherical. Okay. So we are knowing the curve is curved in shape. Okay. So which is nothing but spheroidal. Okay. So thus the surface is obviously curved one. Okay. So in this case, that is of the plane surveying, the curved surface of the earth is not taken into consideration. Okay. So this is because why? Correspondingly, it is been carried out only for a small area. So for that purpose, the curved area or curved surface of the earth is not taken into consideration. So while measuring the distance or while doing the survey work between any 2 points, in that case, that surface is being treated as a plane surface. Okay. And correspondingly, this such kind of survey work, that is plane surveying work, is been carried out by the state agencies like irrigation department, railway department. Okay. So you might have heard that while dealing with the civil work, we are requiring the permission of irrigation department and railway department. So likewise, there are various departments of civil. Okay. So the irrigation department and railway department looks after this plane surveying. And in the plane surveying, the work is been restricted of the area to less than 250 square kilometers. Okay. Only less than 250 square kilometers, it is been dealing with the plane surveying. Next is the geodetic surveying. Okay. So in the geodetic surveying, the curvature of the earth is taken into consideration, and as it is extended over a large area. Okay. So the line joining any 2 points. Okay. So the line joining any 2 points between, suppose this is the line. Okay. So it has been treated as a curved line. Okay. And correspondingly, such kind of survey work, that is geodetic surveying work, is being carried out by the Survey of India department. So this is the main surveying department, and the area which is being taken into consideration, it is more than 250 square kilometers. Okay. So that was regarding the primary classification, plane surveying and geodetic surveying. Next is the said secondary classification. So in which surveying depends upon based on instruments. So right now in the beginning, we have seen that there are various instruments. Okay. So based upon that also, the classification of the said surveying can be done. So we have seen now the said it is chain. So when you are going to make use of the chain, so it will be chain surveying. So when you are going to make use of the compass, so whether it is a prismatic compass or surveyor compass, so it will be compass surveying. There is one plane table also, so over which the drawing sheet has been mounted, and directly the sheet has been drawn, whatever are the features of the ground. Okay, so they are been located over the drawing sheet. So that is nothing but your plane table surveying. Next, theodolite. So if you are going to make use of the theodolite, so that will be theodolite surveying. Then tachometric surveying and likewise photogrammetric surveying. Okay, so that is dealing with the based on instruments. Next is based on object. So based on object means what? Correspondingly, if you want to go with the geological survey, so that is nothing but geological survey. In case of mine, it will be mine surveying. Then dealing with the archaeological surveying, and next one is the military surveying. Then based on nature of field, so whether it is to be dealt on the ground, that is nothing but land surveying. If it is dealing with the water, so it will be marine surveying. Marine surveying. If it is dealing with the air, okay, or said our space, that will be nothing but your astronomical surveying. Further, land surveying, okay, if you have visited to any of the said local office of the civil, so you might have seen that separate department is there, which keeps the record of each and every house where it is located, or each and every water supply where it is located. Okay, so that is nothing but dealing with your land surveying. Okay, so separate department is there. Okay, so likewise irrigation department, then public works department, PWD. Okay, which keeps the record of each and every work which has been carried out. Okay, so in order to determine the natural features of the country, topographical surveying is be done. Okay, so in order to determine the boundaries of a field, estate or house, cadastral surveying is been done. Then in order to locate the exact location of the premises, streets, water supply and sanitary systems, a separate city survey department is there. So if you have seen the plan of your own house, okay, if you are residing in your home, in a bungalow separate, so if you are having that plan, you can see there it is written as C, capital C dot S dot number. So it is nothing but city survey number. So which has been given by the local authority. So which is an unique. So it is not been copied to any of the second place. Okay. So it is city survey. The next one is the engineering surveys which are being carried out in order to draw the road survey projects, then railways in order to do the alignment. Okay. So this is nothing but the classification of surveying, that is primary and secondary classification. So now we are now knowing what do you mean by survey, what is the use of survey, what is the classification of survey, what instruments we are supposed to go make use of during the surveying work. But we should know what is the basic principle behind this surveying work. Okay, so basically there are two general principles. So first one is to work from the whole to the part, and second one is to locate a new station by at least two measurements, that is linear or angular, from fixed reference points. Okay, so we'll see one by one. So first one, to work from the whole to the part. So as the name indicates, work from whole to the part, so it means correspondingly, suppose it has been told to you to measure the area of total Kolhapur district. Okay, suppose it has been told to measure the area of Kolhapur district. So instead of directly going with entire measurement, what you can do, first of all, you will do the classification, you will go taluka wise. Okay, so that is you are going to divide the entire work into small parts. Okay, so that whatever is the error that is supposed to get accumulated, so it can be neglected and can be found out at that particular place only. So that is nothing but the basic principle. So as I told you right now, so suppose this is the whole area. Okay, so which has been closed. Okay, so each of these corner points are called as controlling stations. Okay, and correspondingly this area is then divided into smaller parts. Okay, so by forming the said triangles. Okay, so it has been divided into parts. Okay, so you can divide it into triangles like this. Okay, and again you can divide it into sub parts. Okay. So correspondingly, the purpose of this process of working is to prevent accumulation of error, as I told you. And during this procedure, if there is any error in the measurement of any side of a triangle, okay, then it will be not affect the whole work, because if there is an error in this part, only we can get it corrected there only. And if the reverse process is adopted, that is from part to whole, so it will lead to accumulation of errors and you will not get what is the error. Okay, so that is the basic principle. So divide the entire work, whole part, into smaller parts of non well shaped triangles, so that whatever is the error which is going to accumulate, so it can be eliminated at that place only. Okay, so that is nothing but to work from whole to the part. That is the first principle of surveying. Next one is nothing but to locate a new station by at least two measurements, that is linear or angular, from fixed reference points. So practically in each and every case, it is not possible to locate the third point. So in the geometry subject of the said 10th standard, you might have seen, okay, in the mathematics, okay, so if you are knowing the linear distances, okay, of 2 points, okay, so suppose this is the A and B point where it is located, and if two linear measurements are known, okay, so you can plot the third point. Okay, so I can just, you can put a arc from this side and another arc from this side. Okay, so measuring the angle, whatever is their angle, or if you are knowing this length, okay, so if you are knowing the angle and this length, you can mark it over the said line which has been projected, and you can join this. Okay, so that is nothing but the new stations can be located. Okay, so I will show it here. So suppose here you can see A and B are the two stations. Okay, so which are been located on the ground, and knowing the distance d1 and d2, I can mark the position of the third station point. Okay, so by knowing the two measurements, I can plot the third reference point. So that is nothing but fixed reference point. Again, if you are knowing, 1 minute. So again, here it is a fixed baseline. Knowing the angular distance, so it is 90 degree, and this distance you can plot the third point. So again, one angle, one distance. Okay, you can plot an arc like this. Then again, both angular. Okay, and one angular and one linear. Okay, so that is nothing but to locate a new station by at least two measurements. Okay, from fixed reference points. So that is nothing but the second principle of surveying. Dealing with the next point, scales and representative factor. So in the definition of the surveying, we have seen that it is nothing but an art of determining the relative position between the two points or objects on the surface of the earth, and then drawing or preparing a map to a suitable scale. So what do you mean by scale? Okay, so you might have used a 15 centimeter scale which you are having. So that is not a scale. Okay, that word and this word is different one. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are knowing that if I want to plot a 1 kilometer distance, okay, just take an example. If I am interested in locating a distance of 1 kilometer on the drawing sheet, so practically 1 kilometer cannot be drawn by a straight line on a drawing sheet, because the drawing sheet is having a certain restriction. Okay, so suppose this is the drawing sheet. Okay, so 1 kilometer length I cannot plot as it is, which is on the ground surface. So for that purpose, I am requiring to assume certain value in order to represent it over the said drawing sheet. Okay, so that is nothing but the scale. So as I told you, so it is not possible and also not desirable to make maps to one scale. So whatever is present on the ground, we cannot prepare as it is. So while making maps, all the distances are reduced by a fixed proportion. So that fixed proportion is called scale of the map. In the geography, you might have seen that in the corner, or when if you are using a Google map, so there is certain, when you go on just zoom in and zoom out, so certain value comes like this 1 as 2. So when you zoom in, so this value goes on decreasing. When you zoom out, the value goes on increasing. Okay, so that is nothing but the scale. For example, 1 millimeter on the paper represents 1 meter on the ground. Okay, so suppose 1 meter is the distance on the ground. Okay, so I cannot plot it accurately. So for that, I am taking a scale that is 1 millimeter is equal to 1 meter. Okay, or you can see it as 1 as to 1. Okay, whatever is on the ground, that I'm going to represent. So that is nothing but, as I'm going to make use of the represent, so that is nothing but the representative factor. So whatever is on the ground, I am going to represent it. Okay, that is nothing but representative factor. So you can call it, the scale it as 1 millimeter is equal to 1 meter. So whatever is the distance on the ground, that is 1 meter on the ground. On the paper, it will be 1 millimeter. Okay, or 1 millimeter will be equal to 1 meter is nothing but 1000 millimeter. Okay, so millimeter will get cancelled. Okay, the scale will be nothing but 1 as to 1000. Okay, the ratio of the distance on the drawing to the corresponding actual length of the object is known as the representative factor or fraction. So as I told you, the distance on the drawing, okay, to the corresponding actual length. So the distance on the drawing means on the drawing sheet, and correspondingly actual length of the object on the ground. So when they are being represented by using this scale, so that is nothing but your representative factor. So for example, if a scale is 1 centimeter is equal to 10 meters, so 10 meter will be the distance on the ground, and I am representing only 1 centimeter by making use of the regular scale which you are using for drawing it. Okay, so that is nothing but, and when I'm going to convert it, okay, so in order to multiply or get the same scale, the same unit on both the sides, okay, I'm getting this 1 as to 1000. Okay, so that will be nothing but your representative factor. Okay, so scale means when the unit is been located on both the sides, so that is nothing but the scale, and when only the values are been given 1 as 2. Okay, so that is nothing but your representative factor. Next, now we'll go with the chain surveying. So based upon this, we are going to conduct first practical introduction to chains. Okay, so what do you mean by chain surveying? So we have seen that if you are going to make use of the chain, that is nothing but your chain surveying. Okay, so likewise, you can see here a chain is there. I have shown the here, you can see a chain has been located. So certain links are been there, so which are being just connected, and certain tallies are there. So here it's a single, double tallies, so 3 tallies. So what it is, we will see it here. Okay, so surveying in which only linear measurements are taken in the field, that is nothing but your chain surveying. Okay, so the whole area to be surveyed is divided into framework of triangles of suitable sizes. Okay, so suppose I'll draw it here. 1 minute. Okay, so suppose this is the area which is to be surveyed. Okay, so as I told you, we are going to make use of the principle of surveying. So I'm going to divide it into framework of triangles of suitable sizes. So, and correspondingly, in order to measure the distance between this point and this point, I'm going to make use of the said this chains again from here to here. So all these corner points are nothing but called as your control stations. Okay, or main stations. So preferred when the ground is nearly flat and open, and also when the area to be surveyed is smaller. So this change surveying is been preferred when the ground is nearly flat. So when it is a, so you can conclude that you can use this only when you are dealing with the plane surveying. So plane surveying in which the curvature of the earth is not been taken into consideration, and only the surface has been treated as a flat one. Okay, and when the area is open one and the area is a smaller one, in that case you can go with the chain surveying. So there are various types of chains that are available in the market. So first one is the metric chain, so which is available in 5, 10, 20, and 30 meters lengths. The next one is the Gunter's chain, or which is also called as surveyor's chain, so which is having a length of 66 feet. Next one is the engineer's chain, so which is having a length of 100 feet. The next one is the revenue chain, okay, so which is having a length of equal to 33 feet. Next one is the steel band, or only which has been called as a band, so which is having a length equal to 20 meter and 30 meter. But practically we are going to make use of the metric chain for the said practical work. Okay, so basically we are having 20 meter and 30 meter. Okay, and how you are going to measure the distance also we are going to see it. Okay, so as I told you, that is measurement with chains and chains or tapes. Okay, so this is nothing but the metric chain, in which on both the sides brass handles are being provided. Okay, and certain links are being provided. Okay, so these are nothing but the links which are having a length equal to 20 centimeter. Okay, from center to center, links are being provided which are having a length of 20 centimeter, and a brass ring, a circular brass ring, small one, circular one is been provided at each 1 meter length. Okay, so when a 1 meter distance is been taken into consideration, correspondingly a brass ring circular is been provided or attached. Okay, correspondingly at each and every 5 meter length, tallies are been attached. Okay, so likewise as I shown it here, so these are nothing but the tallies. Okay, so this is a single tally. Okay, correspondingly, so this is been provided at 5 meter. So this double indicates, so double tally, so which indicates 10 meter. This three tally indicates 15 meter, and so on. Okay, so likewise it has been provided. Got it? So IS, there is certain rule, so which are, that has been ISI recommendations are there. So tallies should be provided after every 5 meter, and brass rings every after 1 meter. Okay, and correspondingly you can see it here. Okay, so here is a groove which has been provided here. Okay, and if you want to determine what is the length of this entire chain, okay, so it has been engraved here. Okay, so this is nothing but the brass handle. Okay, and here is a swivel joint is there. Okay, so which makes us to rotate this brass handle in 360-degree. Okay, about this link. Okay, so details of chain. So whatever is the length of the chain, it has been written here, whether it is of 20 meter or 30 meter chain. Okay, correspondingly as I told you, at each and every 1 meter end, a brass ring is even provided. Okay, so this is a single tally. Okay, so for 1 meter, for 2 meter, it is corresponding like this, 3, okay, and so on. Okay, so generally what has been done at 5 meters, it is a ISI recommendation that at 5 meters end, you are supposed to provide a tally. Okay, or in some of the cases at single 1 meter, a single tally like this, 2 meter, so like this, two tooths are there. At three teeth are there, 4 meter, and so on. So at 5 meter, a circular tally has been provided. So directly, if I want to measure the distance, you can measure the what it is the distance at that point. Okay, so that was dealing with the chains. So next we'll see what do you mean by arrows. Okay, so these are nothing but the arrows. Okay, so these arrows are made of tempered steel wire of diameter 4 mm. Okay, correspondingly, and one end of the arrow is bent into a ring. So it is been bent into ring, and which is having a diameter of 50 mm, and the other end. Okay, so this other end is been pointed one, so which can be just inserted in the ground. If I want to measure the distance between any of the 2 points, then I can measure it. Okay, or I can place the, we are having the restriction to the chain, because it after 20-meter distance it is going to stop it there. And if I am interested in measuring a 100-meter distance or 105, 1010, okay, 110 meter, so in that case, at the end of each and every chain, we are going to insert this arrow. Okay, so its overall length is 400 mm plus or 5 mm, whatever is the error is there, it has been there. Okay, so these are being used for counting the number of chains while measuring a chain line. Next one is the peg. Okay, so such kind of pegs are there, so which are made up of either wooden, okay, or steel pegs are there, so which are being driven in the ground and are being hampered in the strong strata with the help of a hammer. Okay, so which is having overall length. Okay, so it is just like the use of the both arrows and pegs is one and the same. Okay, so these are being used in order to mark the end point of the chain. Next is the tape. Okay, so such kind of tapes we have seen. Okay, so there are various types of tapes. So cloth or linen tape are there, metallic tape, steel tape, invert tape. Okay, so in the starting, only I have shown you pocket tapes are there or rounded tapes. So these are the various types, cloth or linen tapes. Okay, so such a tape is made up of closely woven linen. Okay, and is varnished to resist moisture. Okay, so these are being used for taking the offsets, and these are not to be used for accurate measurements. Okay, so it is 15 mm wide and available in the lengths of 10 to 15 meters. Next one is the metric woven metallic tapes. Okay, so when linen tape is reinforced, okay, with brass or copper wires to make it durable, so that is called as metallic tape. Okay, so this is not suited for precise works. Okay, so this tape is available in lengths of 15, 20, and 30 meter. Okay, and it has been wound in a leather case, and brass handle is been provided at the end. Next one is the metric steel tapes. Okay, so these are being used for accurate works. These are lighter and delicate and get broken easily. Okay, so when you are going to handle such kind of tapes, and when it falls from a certain height, it will get cracked, because the rounding or the said tape is been just put into a plastic box. Okay, and we can common available lengths are 10, 15, 20, 30, and 50 meter, or about corresponding 100-meter said tape is also available. As per the requirement, you can get it. Okay, next one is the invert tapes. So for having highest precision works, you are going to make use of the invert tapes, and it is very costly and delicate. So mainly we are going to make use of the metric tapes. Okay, generally we go for this metric steel tapes. Why is it so? Because it is readily available in the market and it is lessly costing. Okay, next one is the ranging rods. Okay, so what is the use of ranging rods? So you might have seen while going from one place to another, uh, correspondingly a triangle mark, station mark is there, a board has been fixed over this. Okay, so that bottom part is nothing but the ranging rod. Okay, so in order to make a line or measure correspondingly, in order to mark the intermediate points on a straight line. Okay, so if I'm interested in measuring 100-meter distance, and the length of the chain is been restricted to 20-meter. So at the end of each and every 20-meter, you are supposed to take it from first position and keep it to the second position, again measure it 40, 60, 80, and then again 100. So how you are going to know that whether the all the points which are intermediate, they are in the same line? So in order to mark these intermediate points, okay, with respect to this first initial first station and the last station, these ranging rods are being placed at the location intermediate, and certain sign conventions are being used so that all these points, or the person who is carrying this ranging rod, can come in a straight line, and you can place the ranging rod so that it will be easy to measure the said distance between the two station points. Okay, this correspondingly ranging may be done by direct observation or by naked eyes also. The length of this ranging rod varies from either 2 meter it is available, or 3 meter, or sometimes 4 meters is also available. So at the bottom part it is provided with an iron shoe, so which has been just been pressed in the ground so that it can withstand, so that you can bisect it. The length, as I told you, and the length of this strip, so it has been divided into strips. Okay, so alternate black and white, or red and white, or uh, it might be orange and white strips are been painted so that it can be visible from a long distance. Okay, so the length of each and every strip is 20 centimeter. Okay, so just like our said tape or the said chain, the length each of each band is this 20 centimeter. Okay, so here you can see in some of the cases black and red is the black or red color has been there. So the diameter of this ranging rod is 3 centimeter. The bottom part is 15 centimeter, and the height is 3 meters. Or and some of the cases it is been hollow, or it might be a solid one also. Okay. So now what we are going to do by making use of this said ranging rod. So 1 minute I will show you the sketch. Okay, you can get it here. So suppose this station A and B are the 2 points of which between the distance is to be measured. Okay, so one of our person who is standing it here will be called as the said leader. Okay, and correspondingly he will be the follower. Okay, so in order to mark these intermediate points, or in order to measure this entire distance, you are supposed to mark these intermediate points. So for that purpose we are going to make use of these ranging rods. So what this person is going to do, okay, so these two stations are been fixed. Okay, so first person will be taking this ranging rod and standing approximately in between this, and the person who is standing here will guide him to move either on the left hand side or on the right hand side, so that all these first ranging rod, middle person ranging rod carrying, and the last ranging rod will be in a straight line. So according to that, whether when it is in the left hand side, okay, I will just shake hand, the I will just move the right hand, okay, correspondingly by making it straight one. So just like you might have seen that the traffic police persons are handling, so that to stop and to move the another vehicles which are in the direction. Okay, so likewise same sign conventions we are going to use it here. Okay, so suppose he is on the left hand side, I will make use of the right hand side because he is to come on the center. Suppose he is on the right hand side, and if it's supposed to come to the left hand side, I will make use of the left hand. Okay, so if it is he's standing at the far away, so I'll move that corresponding hand in a faster manner. When it is coming approximately at the center, I will slow down the motion of the hand. So while conducting the practical, you will get this idea concept clear. So correspondingly, the that is nothing but dealing with the ranging. Okay, so likewise I'll mark the said ranging. Okay, that is marking the intermediate points. So what is the work of the leader? So to put the chain forward, to fix the arrows at the end of the chain, to follow the instruction of the followers. Okay, and second one is the follower to direct the leader to the line with the ranging rod, to carry the rear end of the chain, and to pick up the arrows inserted by the leader. So these are the duties of the leader and the follower. So which are been standing. So one person who is standing here, and second one is standing here. So they are the leader and the follower. Okay. So in the next lecture, we will move to the further part. Okay. Got it. So we'll stop it here.